guys, there's only 10 seconds left in the game. Looks like we're not going to know who. Victory puppies! Victory puppies! Victory puppies! Don't do that to your brother. That is your brother. That is terrible. Hi! Leafs Nation, stand witness for Austin Lucas! Full biblical! Austin Matthews is a Leaf! Why do I watch hockey stressfully? Mostly. Alright, since the game didn't go to a shootout, we're going to do our own skills competition, okay? Iggy. Good boy. Charlie. We will work on it. Leafs win! 1-0. Okay, sure. In overtime over the New Jersey Devils. The way you all thought it would be. You know, I saw a bunch of you on Twitter during the game complaining that, oh, there's not enough goals in this one. I'm bored. Yeah, well, I went to the game the last time the Leafs played the Devils at the ACC. Boring, it was not. Goalless, it was certainly not. A winning formula for the Leafs, it was not. They lost. They lost bad. 5 straight wins, 4 consecutive wins without Austin Matthews in the lineup. When you get a win, you take it and you hold on to it like it's a long-lost relative. Oh my God, Dave, where you been? That's how winning still feels in this city, cheering for this team. You may get older with every passing day, but you won't feel that way with a team that always makes you feel brand new. That one's free, you can have it. Let's talk about the game. Steve, I bet it's gonna be a short one because there was only 1 goal. You're new here. I usually don't take notes for these videos. I figure if it's important, I'll remember it. But when it gets deep enough into a scoreless game, I'm like, maybe you'll start jotting a couple things down. Here are some of the things I wrote. Yes, Austin Matthews misses his 4th straight game. I'm still not perturbed, and I probably would be had the Leafs not won 5 straight and 4 of them without him. The question everyone seems to ask, because Leaf fans want to panic, is when do we panic? Darren Millard made an excellent point on The Good Show with Ben Ennis and JD Bunkus on the Fan 590. Do we panic if Matthews doesn't play in Saturday's game against Montreal? No, we don't panic then. And I'm like, really, Darren? That would have been my answer. No, we panic if he does not play on Monday against his boyhood team, the Arizona Coyotes. Well, his boyhood team would be the Phoenix Coyotes. Actually, they used to be the Winnipeg Jets. Monday. Combination of that's his boyhood team. It'll be his 6th straight game out. He will have been out for over 2 weeks. Yeah, then I think we start to worry. Until then, just win! Speaking of which, congratulations to the Arizona Coyotes on finally doing that in a 3-period game, beating the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you! Look, if you're a Leafs fan, anytime a Western team beats an Eastern team, that's great, and if they beat an Atlantic team, even better. The Habs, even better. That last one isn't really logical, it's just genetic. Even with Matthews out of the lineup, I look at the Leafs on paper with the one subtle change. Ooh, Soshnikov in for Levo. Wow, they're still great on paper. Not as great, but not so bad that your offense should be definitively losing you hockey games. But I want to turn to a center on the Devils, Brian Boyle. It felt good to see him back in the Air Canada Center. Good to see him back playing hockey. Cancer sucks. Brian Boyle does not. It's great to see him overcoming it. It's a battle, but I think Bry Browse is up to it. What is it about my soft spot for Brian Boyle? And the soft spot that a lot of Leaf fans seem to have. He's a very small but significant footnote in Leafs history. Thoughts on the game? The JVR Marner-Bozak line had a great game, and I think it was an important game for them to have. A game where they weren't necessarily rewarded with results, but it was maybe their best process game of the whole season. Great for them and great for the whole team. Sometimes you're gonna have to play in games like this. You gotta be able to win 1-0 games, 2-1 games on occasion. The Leafs actually outshot the Devils 12-10 in the first period. Wow, you outshot a guy! Only to get outshot 10-4 in the second and 14-7 in the third. And 8-2 in overtime, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. I want to blame the Leafs getting outshot so badly, 42-25 by the way. I want to blame that on them getting more penalties than the Devils, but it was only 1 more. I mean, part of that's due to the Leafs getting outshot 8-2 in overtime. No, you are not at overtime yet. But how do you allow 8 shots? It's only 5 minutes. Okay, no. With about 4 minutes to go, Taylor Hall, who is absolutely flying in this game, draws in about 3 Leafs just looking at him, staring at him. Passes Kyle Palmieri, throws on the handles, and oh, Freddy with the bad save, my God. And I was nervous. My nerves were up here. Not just because it was a scoreless game, not just because this is exactly the sort of situation the Leafs would lose in, but because 41 seconds before this happened, I counted. Chris Cuthbert says on the broadcast, oh, both goalies are pitching shutouts. Thanks, Chris. Really glad you said that out loud. I'm being sarcastic. You never say that word, okay? I'm not a superstitious guy, but you never say that word. Even if they ask you to spell it in a spelling bee, you lose. You're out. I know it's an easy word. Lie. Duck out early. They're gonna ask you to spell something like hippopotaplatypus, something you'll never use ever in your life. Just lose. No one's gonna give you a job because you won a spelling bee when you were 12. I'm very protective of goalies. Now, all right. we can start with overtime. I'm looking at this going, hey, the Leafs get a point. Points in 5 straight. And whenever I think that, I go, no, and I get ashamed because no, you're supposed to play to win. But oh, here we go. Marner on the ice with Gardner and Marleau. This is the team, this is the trio that got the Leafs the overtime winner in their last game, which I think was a month ago. I had a good week though. I got a lot done. I feel well rested. That's a lie. I totally squandered it. Mitch Marner is in there dangling and he's doing his little spin and oh, here we go. We got an opening. Why is there a whistle? Jake Gardner, who is not having the best game or season so far, does his best impression of a bowling ball. That's another example of what I've been saying. They might not call that if it happens behind the play or beside the play, but it happened right beside the puck. If it's right next to the puck, if it could potentially affect possession, they're gonna call it even if it's an accident. The 2 minutes that followed were unmitigated chaos. Freddy makes a big stop and he covers it and the Devils are poking at it and they're poking at it and they're poking at it. Quick, somebody help the ref. I think he swallowed his whistle. And they finally call it after Nikita Zaitsev does his best and stay out with Taylor Hall, who has the puck right now. And oh my God, Freddy stopped it. Taylor Hall was everywhere in this game. The only place you see Taylor Hall more is in the tweets of an Oilers fan. But the Leafs kill it. Freddy kills it, and the unmitigated chaos is of get on the ice! It's funny, in the National Hockey League, you go, there's the best of the best right there. They're all on the ball, they never make a mistake, never a brain fart, and they don't even have enough players on the ice right now. 10 seconds left in overtime. Willie's breaking in. It looks like he's got a wide open shot. Oh, he's turning his back. He's probably gonna do something wicked. And the puck just floats into the corner, no one there. But no matter, he recovers it, skating into the slot, and Taylor Hall's just standing there like, I used to be the first overall pick. Oh, Willie Hares, yeah, Willie didn't care, score! None of my in-laws are gonna talk to me for a week, I'm sorry. William Nylander ending the horrific slump he was in terms of goal scoring, and the Leafs win 1-0 in overtime with less than 3 seconds left because, yeah, alright. Now, Luke Fox wrote something that he got a little bit of criticism for, and I think it was unfounded on account of he was exactly right. Well, I think it was an article built around some things that Connor Carrick and other Leafs said. But it was basically, without Austin Matthews, the Leafs have been forced to play hockey properly. Now, they've been outshot pretty badly in a few of the games where they haven't had Austin Matthews, but I thought they've looked all right. It's one of those situations where I usually look up at the scoreboard and go, really? But it's caused other players to rise to the occasion. Morgan Riley, I think, has looked fantastic. Not just Mitch Marner getting off his little slump, but that whole JVR Bozak Marner line has finally looked so much better, so much like they were last year. And William Nylander with his best damn game in a while, finally scoring. Thank you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't pump the tires of a certain goalie, Freddie Anderson, which brings me to something I forgot to do for the back-to-back Bruins games. Devils fans, if I were you, I'd be pissed. I usually tell you to calm down, but now I'd be pissed. In the middle of a hot start, you really put your stamp on, yes, we are actually here, by killing the Leafs earlier in the season. And then you get them again in the building that you did that in, without Austin Matthews in the lineup, after they've had 4 days off, after they've won 4 straight games and they're nice and fat and happy. That's a layup! And to the Devils' credit, they did everything that they could have done to win this game. I guess what I would ask Devils fans is, how does that feel? That was last game for the Leafs when Corey Schneider stopped, like, what was it, 50 shots? How about this? How about this? Devils fans were even. That's how I would look at it if I were you. Freddie Anderson. Now, in my notes, I wrote down in about the middle of the third period that Freddie had faced more shots than Corey Schneider, but Corey Schneider had made the more difficult saves. Some of those ones were in the first period where he was reaching behind him. Are you kidding? If I was JVR at the next Team USA thing, I'd never speak to him. You know, whenever the NHL decides to go back to the Olympics. But the final minutes of the third period and in overtime, crumble, throw that out. Freddie Anderson had the quality, he had the quantity, and at the end of the game, he had one thing that Corey Schneider did not. A shutout. That is your first, second, and third star of the game. Freddie Anderson is back. Or maybe you would argue that he's a good goalie who just doesn't much care for the month of October, in which case Freddie never left. One last thing, thank goodness for William Nylander. Devils fans should thank William Nylander too, because he helped the Leafs and Devils avoid something stupid. And that is a game where 2 goalies get a shutout and one of them loses. So here's how that works. A shutout is awarded to a goalie who allows no goals. Hockey is a game where the team who scores the most goals wins the game. game. So if you get a shutout and then lose in the shootout, it's garbage. Because if you register a shutout, which is a receipt saying that you allowed no goals in a hockey game, how could you possibly lose a hockey game where it is a contest of who scores the most goals? Exactly, the shootout is garbage! It's not hockey! And last thing, Nikita Soshnikov looked good. He only had like 10 minutes to look good, but he looked good. Skating out there, pesky, drew a penalty. That is what I want out of a fourth liner. That's a positive impact. I know, poor Josh Levo, but I'd be interested to see Sosh in a few more games. Question of the game, when Austin Matthews gets back, what do you think the lineup is going to look like? Is one of Levo, probably not, or Sosh going to stick around? They keep saying they want Marleau at center, but I don't know if he's feeling this whole Moore thing. But with Moore gone, who's going to kill a penalty? Soshnikov. That is my question of the game to you. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it and you want to see me hit 100,000 subscribers. Tell all your friends that the Leafs have won 5 straight. I'm into it.